But now we can talk about everything Pixel. I'm going to give my high-level version of this, which is I'm thoroughly enjoying using the phone, and I think it's finally feeling like a flagship, especially because of the new display. And then there's just a whole bunch of googly stuff all throughout this phone that the more I use them, the more I get used to them and miss them in other phones. And some of those are just like the photo features and the like fixing it in post stuff. Some of them are just like call screens, useful, like just classic Google stuff. I like the lock screen, a Material U, blah, blah. And there's a ton of that stuff. But I think it really finally feels, and this is the 8 Pro that I'm mostly using, it finally feels full-on flagship, and I'm happy about that. Very, very bright screen.
Yeah.
Love that.
Super
Actua display. 2400 nits on that bad boy. It's every bit of that, too. I have gotten good battery life, I'm happy to say.
Me too.
So I've gotten, between my normal days of using it in the past week, like 6 to 8 hours of proper screen on time, which is a good battery life on a smartphone on this 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So that's great on the Pro. The cameras are pretty good. I think video shows more improvement than photos. I think photos look all right. They kind of have a little bit more watercolory tendency and a little bit more over HDR tendency sometimes, which I've noticed. But they are big new displays. And video, I shot the whole autofocus video on the Corvette. Super detailed, sharp, maybe over sharpened, but very, very good video.
The color is great.
Awesome color.
The dual exposure pixels are what make the video better.
Yeah.
So
autofocus is fast. It's accurate.
Yeah.
It's been reliable for me. I keep flipping it back and forth between the car and myself, and like this is why I shoot the autofocus videos on a phone, is so I get that experience with it. The microphones are not as good, and I think I was trying to use some of the audio eraser features to get rid of the wind in the background, and there's only so much you can do. It did okay with that, but I really like these phones. This is probably what's going to be staying in my pocket. I do have some more phones to test this year, so I can't speak this prematurely, but I really like the phone.
yeah.
Yeah. So some of the more interesting things that people were asking about that I think are worth diving into a little bit more are, one, what is a photo? Who knows? I don't know. Is it real? Is any of this real?
Nothing's real.
And then 2, is Tensor G3 meaningfully different from our complaints with Tensor in the past?
Kind of.
I would say, yeah, kind of. Especially because I've had, now I don't know how long it's going to last, but I've had pretty good battery life, and I think that a lot of that is because of Tensor.
Yeah.
Software optimization, of course, will play a part. Android 14 has been breathing new life into phones after they fix all the bugs. I'm happy to say that. But I don't think it's that much of a difference otherwise. It's not like some super mega powerful new chip. They're more focused on TPU and AI features, and they've got a lot of that going. I think a lot of the crazy stuff with this phone is just all the crazy camera stuff they're doing with the software editing and the Magic Eraser and Magic Editor and Audio Eraser and endless features about like manipulating your photos as soon as you take them.
If they released all of these camera features on the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro as a feature drop, it would be insane. It would
be awesome.
Be like a whole new phone.
It'd be pretty sick. One thing I want to say about like the whole lineup of phones is like they move the prices up this year. Each phone is more expensive. The Pixel 8 is 120 hertz now. It's gotten its upgrade with new TPU, new cameras and all that, but it is now $700 to start. And then this is now $900 to start, so they just bumped them both up. I honestly think
$1,000.
Yeah, $999.
Sorry,
So,
$999 to start.
Yeah.
I still think the Pixel 8, now that we've used them, is a good phone for the price. I still believe that.
Yeah.
And I think it's harder than ever to justify the 8 Pro. And you can see Google even trying to justify the 8 Pro by artificially gating some features to just Pro.
Yeah, a lot of
even though they're
software
the same
features.
computer. I mean, it's extra RAM, but it's the same Tensor G3
Yeah.
and the same primary camera and the same selfie camera, but only one of them gets Pro mode, the Pro.
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
one of them
The
can
manual focus
actually take 50 megapixel photos, the Pro.
Yeah.
Only one of them gets the generative fill auto magic eraser.
Yeah.
That's the Pro.
Wait.
Later this year.
Yeah, the RAWs are 12 megapixel on the regular one too, which is
Everything.
weird because I think the Pixel 6, the RAW on the regular Pixel 6 non-Pro was the full 48.
The full 48. It's weird.
Which is the generative fill magic eraser?
So you have regular magic eraser on Pixel already, on Pixel 7 and 8.
Okay.
But there's a new improved generative fill magic eraser.
Yeah.
where
just
you
for
can
the
like
Pro.
select things to
It works
fill,
the
or
exact
it's
same
just-
way. It's just the quality of what it fills in is better.
Yeah, they used to do in painting, and now they do generative fill.
Okay.
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah,
Why are you gating that? That's
I don't know. I imagine Google always eventually just moves this stuff to Google Photos, and I think they will because there's sort of this trend in the tech industry right now where everyone's trying to get you to use more storage so that they can sell you storage in the cloud.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've picked up on that.
Oh, yeah.
You think they're...
Everyone's doing it.
Okay, because Apple just gave us high resolution by default, but it was only 1.5 times the file size. It wasn't like double the file size per photo.
Well, but think about this though. Like, if that's another way to gate you into an ecosystem. If you use OneDrive and then Microsoft makes you have like way more files and the files get bigger, you have to buy more storage, and then it's even harder to move to another cloud storage solution. So everyone's sort of trying to make you do that and then pushing you towards the higher and higher tiers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Google used to give you free photo storage, unlimited,
Yeah.
and now they don't anymore. I know that was a long time ago, and obviously, like, things are getting... file sizes are getting bigger, but sorry, my Google went off. Karma hit real hard right there.
You got yourself. You played yourself.
But yeah, like file sizes are getting bigger, but like storage is also getting cheaper, except we're the ones paying for more storage size and they're not. But yeah, I just wanted like an anecdote from this weekend. I was doing I went out with some family, and there was a couple cousins that all have kids, and I mentioned the face swap feature when we were trying to take a group photo with all of the kids, and every single one of them was like, "What phone does that? Wow. What is that?
Wow.
Oh my God, that would be amazing." Wow. So I think for the masses, that feature is going to hit real hard.
I want to go through each of the crazy camera features and explain how well they actually work now that we've used them. Because we saw the commercials, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's different from
Now,
the commercials.
now they're actually out. So the one you're describing, which is called Best Take, works
Face
very,
swap is so
very
much
well.
better.
I think I called it Top Shot at one point. Like you could call it a bunch of
okay, that's what it was called.
yeah, but it's called Best Take. But what happens is it sees your gallery has a burst of photos of the same group of people, and it goes, there's like 9 of these here. Any one of them you can pick as the base photo. Go into Edit. So pick the one where you like the body positions of people. Go into Edit and then hit Best Take, and then it will go find all the other copies of people's faces. And literally give you a selector for the faces for those people. And it works very well at merging people's like face and neck to like match.
Unless you zoom in really tight, you can't tell that it's been edited.
Genuinely 99 out of 100 quality edit. Like really, really good.
It makes sense because you can only do it within a burst photo of things, right?
That's
so
how
like
it finds them.
It's not just a burst. You can take like one photo, wait a couple seconds, take another, wait a couple seconds.
So yeah, I guess I'm thinking burst, so like not much movement can happen, but as long as it's in the same general area, scene.
Yep.
Okay, so there could be plenty of movement, and it's still doing
There could be
a good
plenty
job.
of movement, but the shadows are generally the same. Like you're not moving your location.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Have
awesome.
we tested how far apart those pictures need to be for this to work?
Yeah, we should push it to.
Yeah,
its
let's make 2 people in the studio sit in the same spot for 24 hours and take pictures
we should
between them.
add a bunch of shadow in one photo and then make it really bright in the other photo and see if it will still
merge on the
swap
bright
it
face.
so it looks weird. Yeah,
We might have to play with this a little more.
Yeah.
But just, that
works
one feature,
really well.
amazingly well.
That's why the ads are all about that.
Yeah. So then you have, I'll do audio eraser next. This is the one where they gave the example of like pointing it at like a street musician, but there was like a siren in the background and you could just like erase the siren while keeping the street musician. And I think that exact example would probably work really well because the frequencies of a cello being really low and the frequencies of an ambulance being really high can actually be probably separated a little easier than my example, which was basically wind just like distorting and peaking the mic.
Yeah.
And that was really hard to remove. And I think I should expect that to be hard to remove.
Yeah.
So there's going to be situations where it works well and situations where it doesn't work well. Sometimes it will legitimately save your video from some weird random seagull noise in the background. Sometimes it will not be able to fix your video. So it's like a 50-50 for me.
I had low expectations for that one, and I felt like in that sense, it was more of a like, I captured this random moment. I'm not looking to turn this into a video or like put actual real production and editing behind it, but I just like am sad that I tried to get some sort of noise and there's another noise blocking it.
Yeah.
And maybe I can salvage enough of it so when I'm trying to like show this moment to people, you can understand what's happening.
Also,
Yeah.
interesting note, and this is a little bit of sneak peek, but we're going to talk about later in the podcast. But Adobe also just announced an audio eraser feature in Premiere, and it does the analyzing thing, but it's just a slider. You can't break like the Pixel will break it apart into like this is wind noise, this is animal noise, this
Yeah.
is this noise. You can't do that in the Adobe one. But
I suspect. So I'm very curious about that.
Yeah.
Google's UI is amazing for
really
this.
good,
It's
yeah.
a feature that I don't think a lot of people are going to like dig in and find that often, but if they do,
it's kinda
it
hard to
is
find it.
it is really cool.
Yeah.
Just like going, oh, noise, delete.
Yeah.
Wind, delete.
Yeah.
Animal noise, we'll leave it. No,
Yeah.
you know what? Delete it.
And
like
it's
you
got
can
a
do all
slider
that.
too, so you can leave it a little bit in if you want it to feel like more
Sure.
organic. Because sometimes if you slide something all the way down, it puts a compressor on it and it makes the voice sound really
weird.
like compressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I give that like 5 out of 10. Works okay.
yeah,
Magic Eraser still works really well. It's still pretty good at recognizing objects. Magic Editor is the crazy one.
Yeah.
It's funny because you go in to edit a photo and it's like all black and white UI, and then it's like this colorful, glowing rainbow button in the corner that's
Yeah.
like, click
Please
me.
use me.
I'm over here.
Yeah,
So you click it, and it opens this whole new UI, and there is definitely some latency to this where it's like, all right, you're going to make a big edit here, and it's going to take a few seconds to generate some new versions and then spit them out. But basically, you select something with your hands and then do something to it, whether it's moving it, growing it, shrinking it, changing the sky, changing the atmosphere, all these features, and then you hit go, and it takes some time and then generates like 4 versions of hopefully fixing your problem.
yeah. This one's incredibly silly to be gated. Wait, is this gated?
No, this one
is not
works.
gated.
This one's across the board. Magic Eraser.
Good.
And
Magic Editor.
Magic Editor, sorry.
Right.
The thing that I found interesting is there were some examples in the commercial that we talked about on last week's podcast that I was very curious about. You remember the kid on the bench with the balloons where they move them to the middle
Yeah.
and it like generates the rest of the bench and the balloons?
Yeah.
So I just downloaded that picture and tried it.
Really?
And it didn't quite get it. Like it added some of the balloons back, but the bench it didn't really figure out very well. Like it was like a C- edit. Like if I saw that, I'd be like, oh, you messed up the edit. Like it's very visibly bad. But there are some other things where it was just like perfect. And
Yeah.
you could just move like objects around the frame. I moved a car around the frame. I moved all kinds of things. But then the other thing about the commercial is they're like moving people around.
Yeah.
And I think they moved the one kid like higher over the basket to like make it look like he was dunking. I took some pictures. I have some pictures on my gallery of like me jumping, and I said, let me try that. And I highlighted me and tried to move me. Almost every single time I try to move me, it wouldn't do it. It refused.
Oh yeah.
And it gave me an error that said, this may
Violates.
violate the Gen AI terms
Yeah.
for Google.
I tried it on Tim's tongue and it did the same thing.
Man.
I don't,
Wait,
I don't know that.
I
But
was gonna say, like, have you ever seen the videos where people will like take a picture of their significant other and like edit their eyes just like a little bit further apart and say like, "Oh, you look so great in this picture I just took of you," and they'll be like, "Is that what I look like?" I was like, "This is Magic Editor is the way to just troll all of your friends," but
for sure.
I
The
guess
funny
not.
thing about this too is because it's Gen AI, it's different every time.
Right.
So you could take the same image and try it multiple times and it's going to give you different results.
Like
So
Dolly.
Yeah, like Dolly. So you just kind of have to like keep playing with it.
Wait, when you say different results, not only that the results are different, but also the potentially skirting around like what it will.
Yeah.
So like if you're trying to
Yeah.
move Marques to jump higher and it says it might be like
another
in
photo-
violation,
Yeah.
another photo of Marques jumping
Could be
might
not
work.
in
Right.
violation.
That
Yeah.
sounds totally
It's
like
it's
it
pretty
works
weird.
perfect.
I tried a bunch of photos. It seemed like the number one way to get it to trip for me was to try to just move me far in the photo, like laterally or higher. It would freak out and not do it. So I would just like select myself and move me. But I can move all kinds of objects and other stuff, and it would be totally fine.
What if you select everything around you? What if you color in the
made it
entire thing
Instead of making
around you
big,
and push it
make
down?
everything else small.
Okay, so it didn't work with that. But what I will say is I did find a picture in my gallery of the watermark, and I selected everything around the watermark and hit erase, and it perfectly erased the watermark. And that's just not against their Gen AI terms, apparently. Totally fine.
That's crazy.
Heaven forbid you jump higher. But you want to steal some artwork?
Yeah.
I got you.
It's a fascinating feature.
I have a feeling it like doesn't like skin or just things that could be manipulated in a weird way. That's like I wanted Tim's tongue to be really long.
But it's funny because in the commercial, they're moving people around.
Yeah.
Like
That is a good
several of
point.
the
I
examples
don't
are
know
moving
what
people.
they did for you. I don't know.
I tried a bunch of photos of people. I was like, oh, that's funny. I can lie about how high I jump in photos. And then I tried a bunch of photos of me jumping, and none of them it would let me.
It's so weird.
But it would let me move the frisbee. It would let me move like the background in a tree and erase the people behind me. But that tripped it a lot for some reason.
But then you try and stumble upon it and you have to put an invite code in.
Oh my god.
You can X out of it.
Oh, you can.
I have the invite code right here while I was looking it up. Do you want it right now? It's LIKEANDSUBSCRIBE. It's like and subscribe
Oh,
if you want to take the time.
not in the podcast. I thought you were spelled.